another terrific pleasure. I don't know how many organizations can boast of having background music played earlier by someone like Brittany Paiva. But Brittany is here today to present us with a song. The song is an old song. The words in Hawaiian were Brittany.
Okay, I'm first of all, I'm really honored to play for y'all today and to sing. I think this is the only third time I sing in front of people, but so the song I'm going to do for you is entitled The Shema, and it's going to be done in Hawaiian and Hebrew.
Please rise. And for separate Torah, welcome her.
Ipumeino ke ola o na ike o na puna imua o mako ola no we. Ke aloha I ke ola no na leo na puna waino ke ola I kumeino iale. Ola no ke ala iwa o ia waino ke ola no na ola o ia o na mo ke ola o mai ke aloha iwa o ke ola
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
Wait. You forgot our sister Torah, who is returning to Kona Beth Shalom after being repaired.
Did you hear that? Who is that?
You cannot sit down yet. Oh, where is she? I am so excited that I will be with her once again.
Who's speaking? Hello? Who's there?
We are Sifrei Torah. We reflect many different experiences in Jewish history. Yet our words are the same and our voices are all familiar. I am the Polna sister Torah of your Torah, who is coming home to Kona Beth Shalom today. I have not seen her in over 60 years, since we were taken from our temple in Polna, Czechoslovakia. All our congregants were exterminated by the Nazis. We alone survived. I too was restored at Westminster Synagogue, and then given on permanent loan to a congregation. I now live with the Jewish congregation of Maui. Rabbi Glickman and President Sion Vajdani brought me from Maui to be with my sister Torah once again. I am also a survivor of the Holocaust and also reside with the Jewish congregation of Maui. The bloodstains on my parchment reflect the willingness of my children, my adults, my community to die for me. I still shiver every year as my new congregation dances with me on Simchat Torah. I am so happy to be here.
Oh, don't forget about me. I have been standing in for our sister Torah while she was being restored. Temple Emmanuel on Oahu loaned me to Kona Beth Shalom for the past 9 months. I miss my sisters on Oahu. However, I have received so much love and blessings while on the Big Island, B'nai Mitzvah, Saturday services, where men and women have read my words aloud on Shabbat. Wow. Kona Beth Shalom is such a diverse and unique congregation. I will truly miss you all, yet feel blessed to be going home to Oahu. My rabbi, Peter Sheckman, and my president, George Apter, are here with us today too.
It is truly a miracle we are here together once again. And in Hawaii, just think, from Polna to paradise.
With these Torahs, congregations of adults and children will learn about Torah when we read from them on Shabbat and holy days. Generations will always have in mind the collective histories of members of the congregations from the Holocaust, Kona Beth Shalom, Temple Emmanuel, and the Jewish congregation of Maui. Their stories, special selections, and portions will be dedicated in celebration of the milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, and simchas that we celebrate together, and in memory of those who are no longer here, through tzedakah contributed by the members of the congregation. They are our past, our present, and future. Kona Beth Shalom congregants, family, and friends have fulfilled the important mitzvah of creating a Torah by helping to fill the letters of our newly restored Torah. We will be bringing in her shortly to complete her final letters. she will be reunited with us all. This is truly a time for celebration. Will everyone rise? And the members of congregation Kona Beth Shalom, please form a line to pass our Torah forward to her sisters.
The Torah tells us to wear fringes on our garments. Our sages tell us that God also wears the talit, and that God's talit is as if God is wrapped in light. If any of you were gazing at the sky last night, full moon, you saw God's talit in the sky. You saw God wrapping God's self in a talit like we wrap ourselves in a talit. So those of you who have a talit, would you join me in saying the blessing, reminding us of our commandment? We say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu b'nehitatev b'tzitzit. Blessed are you, eternal one, ruler of the universe, who has sanctified us with commandments and commanded us to wrap ourselves in a fringed garment. Amen.
Amen.
These are the names of the man who
These are the names of the people from Polna. Yaroslav Alfred, 33 years old. These are the people who were sent off from Kona in the Holocaust, never to return. Yuri Alfred, 5 years old. Yosef Alfred, 1 year old. Ladislav Alfred, 29 years old. Flora Alfred-Pova, 69 years old. Camila Alfred-Pova, 36 years old. Marta Alfred-Pova, 35 years old. Teresa Alfred-Pova, 30 years old. Yosef Bash, 41 years old. Otto Bash, 61 years old. Zendik Bash, 18 years old. Adela Bashkova, 65 years old. Irma Bashkova, 57 years old. Marta Bashkova, 20 years old. Malada Bashkova, 51 years old. Olga Bashkova, 66 years old. Vera Bashkova, 17 years old. Leo Baran, 13 years old. Oskar Baran, 52 years old. Eleonora Veraza, 86 years old. Frantiska Veranova, 38 years old. Olga Lerova, 42 years old. Zuzana Bergolarova, 14 years old. Alfeta Durhilmova, 21 years old. Dagmar Durhilmova, 16 years old. Marie Durhilmova, 59 years old. Lothar Fishman, 45 years old. Luzena Frodova, 75 years old. Yuri Friedel, 19 years old. Yosef Friedel, 73 years old. Oskar Friedel, 52 years old. Anna Friedlova, 45 years old. Irma Friedlova, 49 years old. Vedra Khan, 45 years old. Leopold Haupt, 74 years old. Marek Haupt, 70 years old. Dr. Walter Haupt, 36 years old. Yitzhak Prajak, 72 years old. Karel Prajak, 37 years old. Vedliska Prajakova, 33 years old. Helena Prajaka, 4 months old. Hermania Rabova, 51 years old. Harmina Rekhova, 56 years old. Regina Rakova, 56 years old. Walter Richter, 41 years old. Gabriela Riesenfieldova, 58 years old. Arnost Saksel, 59 years old. Zendika Sakselova, 54 years old. Yarmila Sakselova, 14 years old. Karol Wolecka, 48 years old. We remember you all.
May their names be a blessing. And now, work. United States of America. Our flag is over there. And I invite us all at this time to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
have the extraordinary privilege of welcoming you to an event unique in all the world. Our guest of honor tonight is a Sefer Torah that has literally traveled through space and time, well beyond anyone else in this room, to be with us. Torah is, of course, 3,200 years ago, given to us by Hashem on Mount Sinai. But the scroll we rededicate today has come to us from a town on the border of Bohemia and Moravia, in what is now the Czech Republic, from a time so long ago that it makes our Declaration of Independence seem like it was written only yesterday. More than 250 years ago, possibly 350 years ago, this scroll was written, and it has been in regular use by a congregation much like ours, by people much like ourselves, throughout its history, with the exception of about 40 to 50 years when it languished in a warehouse in Prague. I'd like to summarize those centuries for you in just a few minutes. Hundreds of years ago, there must have been a special celebration in Polna. Perhaps the daughter of one of their prominent Jews was to be married, or the son of a wealthy Jewish family was to be bar mitzvah. Perhaps the family contacted a sofer like Rabbi Druin and asked him to write a Torah scroll for the event. The sofer, the scribe, whom we know must have been a remarkable man, an artist, as well as learned in the ways of Torah and also Kabbalah, spent a year of his life writing it, letter by letter. It might then have been presented to the congregation at a ceremony like this one in Polna Synagogue, a lovely building at one corner of a triangle-shaped ghetto, tall, narrow windows on its sides, a beautiful Aron Kodesh up front, and a woman's gallery decorated with beautiful frescoes upstairs at the rear. And if you want to see that synagogue, it's there on the back wall. Photographs. Now let's move forward to the end of the 19th century. Some degree of enlightenment came to Europe. The Jews no longer had to live in the ghetto. Many of them moved away from Polna. Their last rabbi left in 1920. The remaining members of the congregation conducted their own services, inviting guest rabbis for important events. Sound familiar? In the 1930s, Hitler came to power in Germany, and the Nazis invaded Czechoslovakia. Around 1941, many of the communities in Czechoslovakia sent their precious items, like their Torahs, to the Jewish Museum in Prague for what they hoped would be safekeeping. The Nazis cataloged every item with their usual meticulous planning to use these items for a museum to a dead race, and our beloved scroll was given a number. In the early years of the Holocaust, Jews from surrounding towns moved into Polna, and by 1943, when the Nazis deported all the Jewish residents, there were 93, all were taken to the camps where they were exterminated. It may be that one or two women survived. We're not certain. You just heard the names of all those individuals. We have the privilege and the responsibility, this congregation, to say Kaddish for. There are no others. After the war, when the communists took control of Czechoslovakia, they gave ownership of Polna Synagogue to the Hussites, a Protestant sect. But the building was used as a dump, and it deteriorated. The roof caved in, and trees grew out of its floor. In the 1990s, perhaps the 1980s, the synagogue was slated to be torn down when, miracle of miracles, a financial donation enabled the synagogue to be restored. Now it's a museum because there are no Jews in Polna. Gloria and I visited that synagogue this past May. We stood in front of the old Aron Kodesh, and we met the righteous Gentiles who are caring for the place. But that's another story. Meanwhile, the warehouse with all its Jewish treasures in Prague was also left to deteriorate until sometime in the 1970s, when it was rediscovered, and the Westminster Synagogue in London was allowed to purchase the more than 1,500 scrolls and bring them to London for restoration. Some will be beyond repair. Ours, Baruch Hashem, was one of those that could be restored. Now, in 1984, Helen Rabin, who was the treasurer of this congregation, contacted Jay Foonberg in Beverly Hills, a friend who is still a member of KBS. He contacted Arthur Gardner, who was a member of the British military unit that discovered that treasure trove of Torahs in Prague after the war. Arthur wrote back to Jay in January 1980, I have that letter, informing him of the Czech Memorial Scroll Society in London. Now, I don't know how Mark Talisman was contacted, but in 1985, this amazing man, who was the liaison to Václav Havel while he was in prison, who became president of Project Judaica Foundation, and who just recently received the highest state medal of honor from the Czech government, went to London. Now, here's where the Maui contingent will like to know. Our scroll was already wrapped for delivery to Maui. But Dr. Ruth Schaffer, who is the secretary of the society, gave the scroll to Mark for delivery. It's unclear how it happened, but Mark tells me that he prayed, and that was the Torah that seemed to be the right Torah to bring to Kona. United Airlines accommodated the Torah in first class as a human being with great fanfare at Dulles Airport for its long journey to Honolulu, where it was officially greeted by Senator Daniel Inouye, Senator Spark Matsunaga, Representative Patsy Mink, and a princess of the Royal Hawaiian family, as well as others. It was used as a bat mitzvah in Temple Emmanuel in Honolulu, and then Mark brought it to Kona, to this very hotel, to this room, this part of the room, where he presented it to congregation Kona Beth Shalom 21 years ago. Some of the dignitaries and congregants who were there then are here today. As we've used this beautiful Torah for worship over the years in Kona, we noticed that the scroll was getting a little tattered around the edges. We located Rabbi Druin, who was a sofer and a scribe and a specialist in the restoration of Holocaust scrolls. And this past November, Deborah First brought our Torah to Florida for some restoration, like all the other Jews who go to Florida for the winter. 4 days ago, Rabbi Druin brought our precious legacy back to Kona. Since then, most of us here have had the privilege of fulfilling the 613th mitzvah with the sofer's assistance. So that's the story of our Torah. Now, there are lists, there's a list of wonderful and distinguished guests. I have to say them, and they're all important to us because we know them, you know them. I'll say their names, and then later on some of them are going to be up here to speak to us. So first I'd like to thank Brittany Paiva, who is a Hoku Award winner who is singing the Shema in Hawaiian. I'd like to thank Kumu Kayala Ching Oli. I'd like to thank Governor Linda Lingle for being here today. I'd like to thank Mr. Andrew Levin, who is representing Mayor Kim for the County of Hawaii. I'd like to thank State Senator Bob Hogue for being here, State Representative Dr. Josh Green, State Representative Brian Schatz, Hawaii County Councilperson Virginia Isbell, Hawaii County Councilperson Bob Jacobson, the Land Asset Manager for Kamehameha Schools, Peter Simmons. Of course, I want to thank Rabbi Druin, the sofer who came from Miami. I want to thank Rabbi Glickman and President Sion Verjdani from the Jewish Congregation of Maui. I want to thank Rabbi Shechtman and President George Apter from Temple Emmanuel on Oahu. I want to thank State Representative Cindy Evans for being here. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, because this is what makes it happen. This congregation is part of Kona, and Kona is part of this congregation. As a representative of not only all the citizens of our Aloha State, which we call our Shaloha State, but to speak to us today as a member of Klal Yisrael, our family, the family of Israel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blum. Shalom. Shalom. Good evening. And thank you for the great honor of inviting me to be here with you tonight on such an important night in the history of Kona Beth Shalom. And to everyone who had a part in putting together tonight's event, I want to congratulate you. This is very moving.
everything about it. And it is unique in all the world. I'm certain this, the rededication of a Torah has never been accompanied by a beautiful Hawaiian chant. Kumuching, that was magnificent. Thank you very much. I want to thank Rabbi Juen for all the work, the love that went into this undertaking, and welcome you to Hawaii. I want to thank Rabbi Shackman for being here from Temple Emmanuel, and George Apter, their president, and Rabbi David Glickman from Maui, and Simon Bujani from Maui. I know they feel the same way I do, that this is just a great honor to be here with all of you tonight. And I was interested that throughout the program thus far, from time to time, there'll be some humor that's thrown into the program. And of course, we often in our history, we have to use humor because the pain is so great for us. And the reading of the 93 names certainly made that clear. I can't let tonight go by without thanking you for the privilege that I'm going to have later on to perform a mitzvah of one of the letters of this Torah, and that will tie me to you forever. And I appreciate that very much. I also can't let tonight go by without talking about the Jews who are in Israel tonight fighting for their life and for their survival. And I truly believe that's what's going on right now. And when I heard the reading of the 93 names, I could just think I don't want to have some future generation reading other names. This is a time for all of us to be together, support Israel in this time of need and survival. So as we come together tonight for a joyous occasion, and it is joyous, this is the story of this Torah alone should make us feel good that it survived and that we survived. But we should also remember that we're still fighting for survival. So thanks for letting me be here tonight, share that thought with you. I was looking forward to doing that because I think when we're in paradise, the way we are, it's too easy sometimes not to think about things such as what's going on in the Middle East right now, because our lives here are so good. They're so relatively easy compared to almost anywhere else on the planet. And in recent days, I've been sharing with people that although we face many challenges, what you would think of as political challenges, affordable housing and traffic and the things that seem like such a big issue to us, the fact is in Hawaii, we have already overcome what is the most difficult human problem on the planet, and that is getting along, that people of different backgrounds can get along. We already can get along here. I read in the background material about this particular Torah, Rabbi Juen, that it was somewhat unique because it had the Sephardic influence as well as Ashkenazic influence, and it said maybe it's beshert that the Torah is here with us. Maybe it's just meant to be that a Torah that contains different aspects of our own religion and belief should be in a place where we're all different within Judaism, outside of Judaism. We're all different. And we don't just tolerate each other, we celebrate each other, and witnessed by the magnificent chant tonight. So for you to ask me to be here tonight meant a lot. I really feel privileged that I'm going to be able to participate in a while in the formal part of the ceremony. And I wish all of you a good life here in Kona. And thank you, the volunteers of Kona Beth Shalom. As you know, any congregation, whether it's Temple Emmanuel in Honolulu, the Jewish congregation of Maui, or Kona Beth Shalom, it always comes down to a few volunteers. The rest of us show up, come to the high holidays, maybe we even come on Shabbat, but we just show up. Maybe we donate, but we just show up. It's the volunteers who really make this all happen, and I thank you for giving that to the rest of us so that we could just show up and be here tonight. Thank you very much.
I'd like to, at this time, invite another woman who was here in this room 21 years ago and has also served our community, Councilperson Virginia Isbell.
Thank you very much, and aloha. Shalom. Honorable Governor Linda Lingo, we're so pleased to have you here this evening, and to all of our honored guests. And I am especially privileged to listen to him this evening. He's humorous. He's a really good storyteller, Rabbi Drew. I did prepare a letter, but I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to say that I'm very pleased and honored to be here. And I thank you for inviting me, and I'm just going to present it to Mr. Dr. Blum. Thank you very much.
One of the founding members of our congregation was Roz Silver, who is now Roz Silver Marine. And Roz was here. Roz remembers. Roz is one of our historians. If you look at our website and you want to know about her history, we got it largely from Roz. Roz, would you please come up here?
Hello. Barry asked me to come up and greet you all, and I most especially want to do that to all of you. But special greetings to Governor Lingo and to Andy Levin and to Virginia Isbell, who are long friends, and to a whole lot of the rest of you that I've known over the years. What he asked me to do was to tell you about the day when the Torah came first. I can't do that. He doesn't understand quite why I'm not remembering it, but maybe some of you can understand that I don't remember that day, except for the excitement, and that I do remember. So I'll go back and tell you just a tiny bit about the congregation. I'm kind of like the little old Jewish mama who is so very proud of my son, the doctor. Well, I'm so very proud of my group, the congregation. And I was here at the beginning. I retired in 1974, and one of the first things that we looked for when we came here was a way to celebrate the High Holy Days, which were coming up very quickly. And I was told in no uncertain terms by the Visitor Bureau that there was no such thing as a congregation or a Jewish group here. Certainly not. So I came home and I said, we've just got to do something about this. So I called some of my relatives on the mainland and I said, you'll never guess, I couldn't find anything here. How about you all coming next year and we'll have something? Well, it didn't turn out that way. But Bill, who was my alter ego, was an income tax preparer. And as luck would have it, a young man by the name of Gil Martin came to have some income tax done and saw our Jewish things around, menorah and things, and so of course we got to talking about it. I said, I was terribly disappointed we couldn't find anything. Did he know of anything? And he said, no, But it would sure be nice to have something, wouldn't it? So it all started with only 7 of us. He happened to know the Reichmans who lived in Pahoa, and they knew some people by the name of Kona who lived in Hilo. And with the help of the congregations and people over on Oahu who sent us all the books, and a lovely young man, no, I can't remember his name, of course, but I will in a minute. Anyway, see, that's why I can't tell you about that day. Anyway, we did get something started, and this grew out of it. And I am so proud of this group. Even though I don't spend a lot of time, it has a very special place in my heart. And I do thank you all for being here, and thank you especially the ones who are keeping this going.
Thank you very much. Well, now it's time to turn the mantle back to Rabbi Druin. I've got 2 conflicting parts of my script. One, I'm supposed to ask you to tell what's going to happen, and the other is I'm supposed to tell them what's going to happen. Basically, Rabbi Druin is going to now explain to us what's going to happen next.
And there was light. Wow. Just smelling this, I feel like I'm in paradise. Governor, state representatives, rabbis, guests, and everyone who are here, welcome. Shalom. Shalom. Well, the truth is that until not too long ago, had you asked me, first of all, other than Honolulu, did you know the names of the other islands? You know the answer. Had you asked me, did you know that on one of the other islands there are Jews? I think you know the answer. In fact, we have a common saying, or a common, rather, humorous story about Hawaii in Florida. And the story goes that, in fact, there was a rabbi who took a sabbatical. And he traveled around, and it happened that he landed up in Hawaii for Yom Kippur. So after the service, he wasn't telling who he was. He decided that, look, probably the golf course is going to be empty. So he's going to go and take a round of golf. So he goes out there and takes a swing, and guess what? He gets a hole-in-one. Up in heaven, they were going crazy. The angels came to the Lord and said, what's going on? In fact, the angel Michael came up to God and said, this guy performed such a transgression, and you rewarded him with a hole-in-one? So the Lord said, and who's he going to tell? Not only are there Jews in the island of Hawaii, not only is there such a place called Kona Beth Shalom, but in fact today, this very special place has received back something extremely very special. Shaloha, welcome back. You should know the first time I saw this Torah, when it was brought over to my studio back in Florida at the end of last year. And we had been communicating for a while about bringing this Torah for restoration. Well, I've seen many a Torahs in my day. Some younger, some older. And yet when this Torah was opened, I said, wow. Today, something very different is taking place. If I may, I'm going to tell you what the Torah is saying. The Torah today and right now and right here is saying, wow! I can't believe it! I'm back! I'm alive! Wow. Think of what this Torah has been through. It was written so many years ago. And wonderful people danced and read and rejoiced with this Torah for so long. So many wonderful people came and touched it and kissed it. And the Torah was in its highest element. Yes, it had probably high days and low days, exciting days and quiet days. There were moments when the Torah said, oi, what's going to happen? The Torah knew what was happening. As one after the other, Jews were disappearing. Could you imagine what that Torah felt on the day it was taken away? Oi! The Torah probably closed its eyes and said, will I ever see the light of day again? And it was in a box with many other scrolls for so many years. And then one day that box opened. A little ray of light, a little possible hope. And it traveled, and it landed here. A bit wounded, but yet with some hope that it can be used once again. And then sadly, with this passage of time, the Torah started to get a bit frail. On the inside, on the outside. According to Jewish law, when a Torah cannot be used anymore, it's buried. It's a holy object, just like a human body. We bury it at the end of days. There was a thought, maybe this Torah will not make it. Can you imagine what that Torah was thinking? Those tears of sorrow, of worry. And then a group of people said, never. We said once and we'll say it again, never again. Like the governor said so adequately, never again. Times may be tough and very scary, but never again. And the Torah was sent across the ocean. Can you imagine what the Torah was thinking? Where am I going? What are they doing with me? Again? Sending me away? Not in a box. It was carried. It was delivered first class. But traveling around. Can you imagine the joy when the first drop of ink touched the parchment once again? The tickle, the excitement. Can it be? Can it be that I will see the light of day as a kosher Torah again? Nah. You know what it will take? The time, the effort, the love. Yes, the love. It's a work of love. And for all those months that my beloved father and myself toiled on this Torah, it was a work of love. And we would just marvel at the fact that we have the privilege of restoring and bringing this Torah to life. Could you imagine what this Torah felt when it was now being put together to be brought back? There was a bit of a scary moment when the airline told me, no, it's a bit too big, we can't take it on the plane with you. We have to send it under. I said, that's not happening. I'm sorry, Rabbi Druin, we appreciate what you're doing, but it has to go under. I said, listen, it either comes up with me or I go down with it. I won in the end. The Torah came with me, being held every stage of the way. It never left my eye. Do you know what the Torah is saying right now? Shechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'hegiyanu. I reached the moment that I was praying for so long. And the thank you goes to you. Because it's all of you with your prayers and your hopes and your love that has brought this Torah back to us, back to life. And now a most beautiful chapter is just about to come to an end. But as we know in Judaism, what happens when we finish? We start again. A wonderful new chapter is about to begin. What's going to happen now? The procedure. There are a few more letters that need to be refilled, need to be filled in. And with that, our Torah will be kosher. Those who've been selected, in a moment will go out and wash their hands, or rather to the side here, wash their hands. We will say the blessing as we're about to perform a holy act. And in Judaism, when we perform something that is holy, traditionally, we wash our hands and we say the blessing. We wash our hands 3 times on each hand to symbolize the first time you do something, an accident. The second time you did it, a coincidence. When you've done something 3 times, you've established a pattern. We're going to try to establish patterns of holiness. I will then come up and fill in personally 2 letters, one for all those who donated and contributed money towards the writing of this Torah and the fixing of the Torah, who could not make it here today. The other one will be in honor of all the Jews of Israel, particularly in the north, who, as we know, are suffering so much. And then we will be inviting a selection of other people to have this special opportunity to write the last letters.
Amen.
I think it's important that I inform you just very briefly of the section that we're about to fill in. For those who have seen and participated, you are aware that we are filling in fact, in this case, it's the last 3 words in the parasha of Noah. It's Noah on the ark, the famous zookeeper on the boat. And as we know, it was very dark on the boat. And then there was light. There was a flood. And it looked like there was no hope. And we know the raven, the dove, the first time, the second time it came back with the branch, and then finally when Noah sent out the dove for the 3rd time, at that point the dove did not return. It found another home. The words we're going to write are V'lo yasfa shuv elav od, meaning that was it. That story was over. We did not have to repeat it again. I think that is incredibly moving to the fact that this is what we hope and pray is happening right now. Never again will we allow, not for ourselves, and surely not for the Torah, to ever have to go through such a tragic and dramatic experience. We're here to make sure it doesn't happen again. And at the same time, make sure what happens again is the joy, the celebration, the motivation, the excitement, the building, the collectiveness, the harmony that the Torah teaches at all times. So the first letter that I'm going to fill in, as I mentioned, will be in honor of all those who participated in one way or the other in the restoration of this Torah but could not be here today. Every time before we write in the Torah, we utter a special blessing, which is in Hebrew, and the word basically, in very simple terms, says, I'm hereby fulfilling the commandment, the mitzvah, of writing a letter in the Torah. It's the last commandment, the last mitzvah of the Torah. L'shem mitzvat ketivat sefer Torah. And the letter Governor, you will be filling in will be the letter Lamed. It's the tallest of all the letters. The letter Lamed is the one that, no matter where you stand in the Hebrew alphabet, you always notice it. It's there shining over the rest. I think it's extremely befitting that this is yours. Now, before you clap, I have to add one more line which will make the clapping even better. I suppose by default, I travel all over. And I've heard many a speaker, many a politician. And let me tell you, you spoke absolutely beautifully. I am telling you, the words that you said, besides touching me, well, that was easy. But in fact, moved me to the point where it actually really all tied the entire experience, past, future, to the present, with incredible leadership of yourself, with this community. I think they're all extremely lucky to have you. I'd like to thank you, and I'm honored to be sitting here next to you. Now you can clap! Please say after me. L'shem, mitzvat, ketivat, sefer, Torah. Mazel tov. No reflection. But the letter you're going to be filling in is the smallest letter. But what do they say? Special things come in small packages. The word is a love. The word is to you. That's what a love means. To you. In order to give, you have to be a very special person. Most people receive. Most people ask. Most people expect. To be able to give to others is a very special quality. So thank you for being here and joining us today. Thank you. So please repeat and say after me. L'shem, mitzvat, ketivat, sefer, Torah. Mazel tov. And now the letter we're filling in will be the letter Vav. Vav is a very special letter. I'm sure you heard that about everyone. But the letter Vav in Hebrew represents the word hook. Hold the quill. And please say word for word after me. L'shem, mitzvat, ketivat, sefer, Torah. Mazel tov. The letter you'll be filling in is the letter Ayin. Now, Ayin in Hebrew means I. I see you. The letter Ayin has two heads to it. We have two eyes. Sometimes we say one eye is to see the good things, and the other eye is not to look at the not good things. And yet there's another element to two eyes. One is to see what is obvious, and the other one is to see beyond the obvious, over the horizon, the unexpected. I think, being who you are, and the leadership that you hold in the congregation truly symbolizes the two elements of the ayin. You and your family and your loved ones is what you see and what you care, and that's what you're thinking about. That's the one part of you. The other eye is to see the greater community, the future, the unknown, and yet to try to make it happen today. And both are meant to work in a very unique harmony. I'd like to wish all the best to you and your loved ones, and yet at the same time, wish you and your greater community equally all the best, with both eyes. Thank you for all you have done in making this Torah come back to life. Please say after me. L'shem, mitzvat, ketivat, sefer, Torah. Mazel tov.
Before we call up Erwin, who has been the shomer for our Torah, and who has been taking it faithfully back and forth and protecting it and taking care of it, I'd like to ask Paul and Judy to come.
You gonna tell us?
I'll give you a towel.
We didn't know anything about
This letter was my call. I joined with my wife, who, by the way, my beautiful wife there in the back, Ahuva. I had a hard time convincing her to join me here in Hawaii. Both of us have been absolutely mesmerized with you. I can start rattling off beautiful comments, but truly that won't do any justice to what you both have performed in making today happen. When the governor was talking about the volunteers, we all know who we were talking about. There were many those who helped, many who made today happen. And they're sitting here amongst all of us. But I am humbled to sit here together next to you. When it says that the Torah loves the Jewish people, I understand that. When it says that we are supposed to love the Torah, I work at that. When I saw your love, it truly symbolized the quality of what Jewish people should have in their love to Torah. One can be in paradise and still need blessings. Humbly, I like to bless you both. That your wishes, your hopes, and your aspirations will be fulfilled in the honor and the merit of taking care of beloved Torah. Thank you so very much for everything you have done. And please say after me. L'shem,
L'shem,
mitzvat,
mitzvah,
ketivat,
ketivat,
sefer,
Sefer.
Torah.
Torah.
So what's the letter?
It's the letter Vav. It's that book. It's the backbone.
Thank you.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Okay, before I ask everyone to rise, not yet. We're at that moment. Yes, we are finally reaching that moment. This is the moment that when we finish, this Torah will be a kosher Torah. And it truly will be back to life. You've been the shomer. You've been the guard. The one who looked after it, took care of it. On the hot days, and during the hot days, and then again in the hot days. The letter we're filling in is the letter Dalet. It's the last letter of the word Od. When we're saying it never happened ever again that the dove came back to that ark. Never again. We're concluding with never again. And yet the Dalet has one more last lesson. It's the last letter in the verse Shema. We say Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And the Dalet of the word Echad symbolizes in Gematria, numerical value for those who are listening, the number 4. And we are taught that as part of our journey in this world, the Jewish people have traveled to the 4 corners of the world. I'm proving it here today. And yet, as far and to the most remote places that we may have landed, we don't forget that there's one God in this world. And we are lucky to be the nation who hold on to this beloved Torah. The Dalet represents wherever we are all tied and united together with Torah. So with no further ado, I'd like to ask you all to rise in anticipation of the final moment when a Torah of close to odd 350 years is coming back to life. At the moment when the final letter is being filled in, it's customary to think and to pray for yourself, for your loved ones, for your family, for your community, for your friends, for your island, for your nation, for the whole world, for peace, harmony, and the goodwill between people, and the completion of the mission of this world to make this world a better place. Amen. So hold the quill, and please say after me. L'shem.
L'shem.
Mitzvat.
Mitzvah.
Ketivat.
Ketivat.
Sefer.
Sefer.
Torah.
Torah.
Mazel tov! Mazel tov! Mazel tov!
we dance with them 7 times around the circle.
Let me put it back down.
Okay.
On it. I got it. I got it.
I wrote on it.
Oh, good, you wrote too. Good, thank you so much. We made a whistle and we didn't even know what it was.
I read about it in the paper, yeah.
You didn't sign it? No, I didn't get to sign it. Look how gorgeous it is.
tradition, our minchag in this community is that everyone has to be in line of sight of the challah. Now,